to Season 3, Episode 10 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host, Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
I have so much anger. I feel like I've been raped in the face.
Yeah. Coogan, man. Coogan is going for it in this movie, man.
It's a really nice performance by him.
Yeah. And it's really all it's got, mostly. So,
I think it's pretty clever in places. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I don't know about you. We watched Hamlet too.
I did. Yeah. This is my second go of it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it like when it first came out on video or something way back in 2008. But yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Like, I guess.
Sounds like you didn't like it as much the second time.
Well, I think a fatal flaw, and I have to make sure I don't run into this again, because this is now twice where I've run into some snags getting this movie done. So I've tried to kind of fit it in at work.
Yeah, you watched it on your phone. You made Christopher Nolan sad.
Yeah, it's not a great environment.
No.
At all for it. To be fair, I think did I watch it on my phone or on my laptop? I can't remember now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't remember. But whatever. I was doing notes. I think it might have been my phone. So I was watching my phone and doing notes on my laptop or something. Yeah, so I don't think I got the best experience. I remember liking it more the first time around. And so I blame that on my experience. So I try to give it the benefit of the doubt in grading.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'll make up for it.
Hey, it's your money.
Later.
You rented it. You wanted to watch it that way.
I did.
Well, why don't you describe what the movie was, since this was your pick?
Yeah. So this deals with a not very good actor named Dana, who has seemingly failed his way out of doing commercials and infomercials and such, and has now found himself working for barely anything, being a drama teacher. And so basically Arizona's cutting everything and programs, and his is included, and he's trying one last ditch effort to basically put on some play and save drama.
Okay. There's a lot of basics in there.
Oh, wow. Everybody's a critic.
Yeah. Yeah, as Tim said, let's get into it. Our hero is Dana Marshes. This is a running joke of how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
Played by Steve Coogan. Dana fled Manitoba, Canada, to Hollywood to pursue his dreams and failed, and is now a high school drama teacher in Tucson, Arizona. His only creative output now is putting out small hacky plays based off of popular Hollywood movies like Aaron Brockovich.
Yeah. I am really curious, because it does seem like it's a class.
It's an elective class, yeah.
Yeah, because they do have like why he gets an influx of students later, right? Is they cut so many things and cut so many programs.
Also because they found asbestos in the mobile classrooms.
Yeah. So really his drama course is like the only one left
for the poor kids.
I'm like, wait a minute. Like, how are they keeping his class afloat when before this happened, he had 2 students? Because like all of his plays are just the 2 kids. It's like, as soon as there's not enough kids to fill a class,
I knew you were going to become like annoying teacher.
It's just semantics. You don't have a class of 2 kids.
Well, yeah.
Then it'd be a club.
That's all. This is a joke. It's a comedy. You can't stop. Turn your high school teacher brain off and just laugh with it. He was sharing a room with the high school cafeteria. That's where his class was.
It happened to have a stage, yeah.
He was being paid in gas money, and that's why he rollerblades everywhere. They basically just squeezed him in for like $60 a week if that.
Yeah.
Probably less than that
Yeah.
in 2008.
Yeah, and he's because he's tight on cash and everything, right? Him and his wife, so he's married,
Bree.
are sharing a room for rent or whatever. I guess
They have a
a
tenant,
roommate.
Gary.
Yeah, Gary, who the wife is not a big fan of, thinks he's an idiot.
Yeah. But Gary has a car, which is pretty useful since
Yes.
Dana and Bree do not have a car.
Right.
I gotta tell you, just like the very idea of roller skating everywhere in Arizona just sounds like the worst. Just like,
It sounds awful.
especially when my guy's
Yeah.
like doing it in suits in the beginning of the movie. Like, I would die. And you've never been to Arizona.
No.
That heat is something different. I mean, like, there's no humidity
Yeah.
in the air, but it's just like being like directly underneath like a hot lamp, just like the whole time, like oof.
Yeah. No, thank you.
No, it's I prefer it over Florida, but it's still rough.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Dana is also an alcoholic, but 7 years sober.
Yep.
I think the only part of Steve Coogan's body we don't see in this movie is his asshole. So when Tim says he really gives it all, he really gives his all in this thing.
Yeah. He goes for it.
But Dana definitely feels like a riff on the Michael Scott character from The Office. You know, we're right in the middle of like The Office being a sensation. And he's another character that isn't great at his job. And he's not really good at the thing he's really passionate about either. But he's filled with positivity and well-meaning kindness that makes you root for him instead of being annoyed at his incompetence.
Yeah. He means well and he's got a lot of enthusiasm. And I guess it can be contagious to some people.
Yeah. And, I liked this character. And Coogan played a big part. Coogan's great. I mean, because you so easily can make this character annoying and just like absolutely not.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I guess like I don't know, like I think this time around though, it started to feel a bit one note, and like I felt like a lot of the same jokes kept coming back with the character over and over again, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, and that I don't know, so I remember liking it so much more the first time around than the second time.
See, I found it fascinating because there's definitely subtle notes of like the darker past that they only slightly touch upon in this movie.
Yeah.
He talks about having issues with his dad, but they don't explain ever what those issues were. And
Right.
but like he makes a reference, a joke earlier I made about being raped in the face when he gets bad reviews. And later on in the song, we hear him, the song that he's written for his play, Raped in the Face. And there's more backstory given. It's like, oh, sounds like his dad molested him. Like, oh my God, like this movie's way darker than it actually
I
led up
wasn't
to be.
sure about that because I felt like there was other lines too that said like the abuse was more emotional and verbal, I thought.
Maybe. I mean, it's all so absurdist, the whole thing. So it's possible that he just decided to extend the metaphor out that far.
Right.
But it's
you
like,
just have to kind of catch certain things. And I thought that was kind of the gist they were going with after a while. Because I thought somebody made a comment about him being like hit or something. Or even like the part which I probably still thought was funny, but I guess we'll get into more later, that his one critic.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into him.
He keeps going back to get advice from too at the same time. He made a comment to him like, just like my father, like the comments this kid would make to him and stuff like that. So,
Oh, I gave this character a 3.
hold on, I did not have it up. My bad.
Tim is so unprepared.
It's been a while since I've taken. I did as well.
Oh, well, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Favorite laugh out loud moments. So this movie starts on a high note.
Yeah.
Tremendous opening scene where we see all the humiliating acting jobs Dana has booked over the years and probably were the highlights of his career.
Right.
You got Guy who has a tough time using an inferior juicer on an infomercial. Appearing as a dopey Xena villain who gets a toy unicorn shoved up his ass.
Yeah.
And finally, a herpes commercial.
Yep.
I was laughing throughout the whole, and like interspersed is like this narration about like the importance and gravitas of being an actor.
Yeah, and I like that he's doing the narration, and I love the line where he goes, and so I ended up in like Tucson, Arizona, where dreams go to die.
Okay, so Dana gets his Aaron Brockovich play reviewed in the school paper, and it gets top to bottom shredded, and that's where he says like the line I said immediately, I have so much anger, I feel like I got raped in the face. And then Dana goes,
ironic. What is it? Ironic gesture or confused? But it's better than last year's Mississippi burning.
and I'm trying to imagine what that would have been like with only two white kids playing all the parts.
Yeah.
Well, there really was only white people in that movie. Now I think about it, it's been a minute, but still. Dana speaks to the school theater critic Noah Saperstein, who looks to be about 12 years old.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's a connected elementary or middle school.
Or middle school, probably. There are high schools with middle school
right,
attached.
because at some point this kid says, I got to go to recess or something. And I was like, what? Anyway, after Saperstein explains his review, Dana appreciates the notes and says, thank you for the truth sandwich, my little brother.
Yeah. I love, what is it? It's, and then we get fisted by this guy. Then one of them's like, what's fisted?
Yeah. I love when he's nervously talking to his new class with all the extra kids. He gives that little tidbit that he worked with Robin Williams as a stand-in for a week on Patch Adams. And Robin gave him a ride to his bus stop. He's a very nice man. He gave me a ride to my bus stop. Like, wow, what a hero.
Yeah, as everybody's like completely ignoring him and everything.
Yeah. My favorite moments from this whole thing is, Dana shouts and then apologizes for freaking them out and says even louder, "Wait! I hope I am freaking you out!" And Coogan's face and delivery killer here. Because he's like doing this like evil smile when doing it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, because it is pretty abrupt when he yells, right? What is it? It's like, hey, you fucking bastards.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
And then like Dana tries to explain the power of theater and shared experience to the kids, and he kicks a trash can that goes flying across the room and hits a girl in the head.
Oh yeah, which is an ongoing joke throughout the whole movie.
For her, Yolanda.
Yeah, for her. Yolanda just keeps getting hurt.
He's like, I hope you've understood, like, that was visual and stimulating, and we will all remember this forever. And like one kid's like, that was stupid. It was stupid, but it was also theater. And then he politely like borrows a student's phone and calls 911 because the girl clearly has a concussion.
Yeah. And isn't that like after the suck up, the
Rand,
whatever, is like deciding to be an animal.
Yeah, that you want.
Yeah. It's like, and what animal is he playing? That's a pussy.
Later, he goes. Dana. Okay, so Dana is having trouble conceiving with his wife, and she saw a pamphlet that says Dana has to stop wearing his tweed suits.
Yeah, and no more tweed pants.
Start wearing looser clothes. So he shows up to work the next day wearing an Ethiopian caftan, claiming that he had a break. And then he says, like, I had a breakthrough watching Dangerous Minds last night. And he challenges Octavio, the loudest kid in the class, to karate. And like Dana does a warm-up kick or something and flashes the entire class. No undies under the caftan. Just swinging dick in front of a bunch of high schoolers.
Oh, yeah. That was a funny reaction for me. Like, whoa.
Yeah. The guy's like, I'm not punching a guy in the dress.
But he tells that he convinces him. He's like, now hit me.
No, he's just like, it's a caftan, my friend. Keeps my balls at room temp.
Yeah. You were a Colorway in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah.
By the way, she is pretty funny in this movie
Who?
as well. The wife.
Catherine Keener?
Yeah. She's like, she pulls off the what the hell did I do with my life? Depressed.
Wow, I didn't.
Type of stuff. Pretty funny.
I had a complete opposite reaction.
Really?
Yeah.
Just made you sad?
Well, we get into that later when we get into supporting characters.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, then we got Dana gets told that this is the last semester of drama at the school, and he has like this nervous breakdown in front of the class, and he faints.
Yeah.
And-
Well, let's be honest. There's not going to be any Oscar winners. It's Tony winners.
Tonys. There could be Tony winners.
Yeah.
And then anyway, he passes out in front of the class, and like one of the kids is like, "Is he acting?" He's like, "No, he's not that good."
Yep.
I love Dana is sad now and decides to bring his little keyboard to the sperm clinic to cheer himself up.
Yeah.
And he begins singing like, "Am I shooting blanks? Are my testicles an empty tank?
What was it? Hot buttered love splank or something?
Is it all a ruse when I go kerglooge? Why? I want to shoot you with hot buttered love spackle. So put your lips around this wedding tackle. It's a nuclear war." What the fuck?
I don't know. It's amazing too, because then you get introduced to Elizabeth Shue playing Elizabeth Shue, who's like, just a nurse who's done with acting, and for some odd reason, Elizabeth Shue is totally like enamored and just is liking this guy's vibe.
Well, I think this character of Elizabeth Shue clearly misses like the fun of it, of acting, and everything like that. The glamour and being also him shining a star on her. I think she was clearly enjoying that.
Right.
God, I love Elizabeth Shue. She's great.
She is great. Yeah.
So after talking to young Saperstein, the school critic, Dana decides to write an original script instead of a version of the Lake House. I forget how he describes Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, but it was funny. And he's like struggling his ass off to write an original. And I love the part where he takes a look at his cat and says, "What's your fucking problem, man? Huh?"
Oh yeah. I actually laughed on that one. I did laugh out loud on that one pretty good. Yeah. I kind of amused a little bit too when they're trying to think about how much money they need to raise to save drama.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone's like, "A bake sale, not enough dough, pun intended." Knock over a 7-Eleven. Security's gotten better. I know.
Don't ask how I know. Yeah.
Yeah. A toaster is street for gun. How colorful.
So finally he writes his script for Hamlet 2. And his wife sits down to look at Dana's script and reads, "The time machine door opens, revealing Hamlet, Gertrude, Polonius, and Hillary Clinton having what appears to be group sex." And he says, "It's about my troubled relationship with my father."
Yeah. You're going to do this with kids?
Yeah. I got the next part that I laughed at was, so Dana, the class at one point gets into a fight with each other. I think it's because of something the racist girl says. And so Dana quiets them down with a promise of nachos or pizza and brings them to like a Dave and Buster's type place.
Yeah.
And at some point, Dana gets a hold of like a long balloon and mimes a cigar with it and shouts, "Hey guys, I'm Groucho Marx. I say funny things." No? Didn't do anything for you?
No.
Oh, well, okay. The fact that he couldn't think of anything that Groucho Marx actually said, or I don't know. I thought it was a funny reference to make. I like.
Fair enough. Okay.
Then later on at the Dave and Buster's, you got Dana telling the kids who are openly drinking at this arcade now, which I'm sure
they're all clearly drunk.
Which drove Tim's high school teacher brain insane.
Hey, I'm amazed you said this now. There would have been 3 other things I would have already said and before we even got to this.
I'm sure.
Just putting that out. I'm restrained.
Okay.
There's restraint going on.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
So he tells the kids he's sober, and they ask him what would happen if he drank. He's like, "My world would crumble. It's a slippery slope. Beer, liquor, coke, meth, chicks with dicks, and then jail." My dude certainly lived a life.
Yeah.
And then one of the kids slips him some acid in his lemonade, and he wakes up on the side of the road, bent over a couch, half naked.
Yeah, I thought it was just alcohol or liquor that they poured in at first, and then he makes the acid comment later. It's like, oh, okay. Did he just know he's done it so much in his life? He just knew, like, oh, that was acid.
That was my
I wasn't
guess.
sure if that was it.
I don't think there's like
or
a piss test for that one.
if it really was liquor that they put in his drink.
No, it was a little vial or whatever. It was definitely like.
What? But I'm wondering if it was it liquor, and then time passed, and he went to that many different things.
Considering the vial that they poured in, I mean, it was a vial. Like nobody put alcohol in a vial. They would have just put alcohol in. Like so,
Fair
it was
enough.
acid. They slipped them. Oh yeah. So Dana talks to Octavio, whose parents want him to drop out of the play, and Dana won't hear of it, and tells him about his troubles with his own dad's. And he says, "You could say like Hamlet's ghost. I'm haunted by him because he caused me so much pain, which is why I tried to become an actor, which caused me so much pain." And then for like half a second, Dana recognizes his moment of self-reflection and quickly shakes it off. And the face acting here is just brilliant. Coogan really, really great in that scene.
Yeah, he nailed that part for sure. And this is kind of when you realize, too, like, what was his original name? The kid's parent, or the kid of the parents? Because he thought it was this ridiculous name for like the longest time.
I forget what I didn't write it down because I thought it was so dumb.
Yeah,
it's like one of those like Bart Simpson calls most tavern lames.
Right, but I liked the reaction from his face when he.
It's like, oh, I just got that.
Yeah, that I liked.
Dana brings in Elizabeth Shue to speak to his class about acting, and none of them seem to know who she is.
Yeah.
And Dana's furious and lists off a bunch of her credits and finally lands on Dreamer, that shoe with the horse, come on! It's weird this movie is devoid of any Back to the Future references. It's like the one thing they don't talk about in her filmography.
I do like when a little bit before that, when the Goody Two Shoes, whatever,
Rand,
teacher's pets, freaks out and doesn't like how he's been turned into a gay, bi-curious person and got his role reduced, and then he eventually quits and he's like, I hate you, you stupid fat fucker, and then slaps him and walks away, and then he just gives this turn, like he just turns and just goes, am I fat? Ignores everything, goes, am I fat?
Yeah.
It's like I thought that was funny.
So after while Elizabeth Shue is giving like her speech to the kids or whatever, Dana gets called away by the principal, and Elizabeth Shue gets a question about what she misses most about acting, and she's making out with all the hot young guys. That was great. Yeah. If I had one complaint about nursing, it would be that you don't get to make out with your patients.
Such a weird line.
That's great. Oh, there's like these act breaks, like in just like a Shakespeare play.
Yeah.
And the title of Act 4 cracked me up. Act 4, Hope is a Demon Bitch.
I like when I like throughout the movie too, anytime somebody does read a little bit of the script, someone just gives like a little nugget of a detail, and it's always the most like absurd thing. So you really have like as you're watching the movie, you really have no idea like how truly insane the play is, but every time you get a little nugget of something, you're like, oh my gosh. And there's another one here where the teacher's pet gives the principal the script, and he's just like, Gertrude gives Hamlet a hand job. He's like, oh my god.
It's freaking wild. Like, I would definitely have seen this play. Like, absolutely. Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Well, as you get to see snippets of the play, you're just like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
In fact, I only have like one other thing before we get to the play.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So at some point,
he does respond to the principal too. Like, there's no nudity. Well, minimal.
Eventually, Bree decides to leave Dana, and she's gonna go get a ride with Gary and hook up with Gary. Turns out that she's actually pregnant with Gary's baby, and they're gonna go to San Diego.
She found out a while ago, apparently, that he's been shooting blanks.
Right. And
rough.
And so like Dana spins out of control, falls off the wagon, does all the drugs, drinking, whatever. and then he shows up to practice rehearsal, and
Yeah.
the kids see him spinning out, and they try to cheer him up. And Octavio tells him it doesn't matter how much talent we lack as long as we have enthusiasm. And I don't know, man. That worked for me. It made me laugh, and I was kind of oh.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's it's weird because it's your first real inclination that he is kind of getting through, that he is someone that because that's something the movie kind of lacks. Like you go from the kids thinking this guy's a fool and drugging him to kind of then just being on board throughout everything, and that's the first moment where you really see that's what kind of got them, but you never really get any hints of that before,
I think it was actually when he recognized Octavio's talent when they were running scenes. That's what turned everything around, where he actually encouraged him and told him that he was really good at this.
Yeah, I mean everyone did, because the entire class is whoa.
Right, but they got the entire class into it and turned everything around for him.
Yeah,
they still didn't respect him all the way, but I think that they started to buy what he was selling. And yeah. But I love the line, it doesn't matter how much talent we lack as long as we have enthusiasm. It's hell yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else I have now is for the play. So if you have anything before the actual production of Hamlet 2, rock on.
No, I mean, it's just, I mean, there's a couple more Yolanda stuff that I was just kind of oh, there she's getting hurt again.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get to the play at that point.
Okay.
And I guess to just kind of set things up, right? So he gets fired. I did forget, they've locked him out because they moved him from the cafeteria. And I forget there was a funny line about him saying something mean about the cafeteria workers for not allowing them to be in the cafeteria anymore. And they moved them into the gym. And so every time they're in the gym, there's volleyball practice and stuff like that going on at the same time, which is kind of funny. And that's kind of when Elizabeth Shue stuff going on or comes to speak. But then they don't want this play to happen after the principal gets a script. So they lock him out of the gym. And then so he comes over and discovers the gym is locked, and he's and he goes on some soliloquy, but then one of them starts going to pick the lock, and then he starts going oh, this is wrong, and we're not gonna pick the lock and whatever, and then they successfully pick the lock, and he's but we have a lot of work to do, and then they just start walking into the gym, and that's when the principal, our guy, is hey, get out of here, and starts yelling at him we fired you, and then they run out. I thought that sequence was pretty funny.
Right. They find a new place to have the play at an abandoned warehouse where they were having raves before that got shut down.
Yeah, exactly. So we're at a whole new facility. They decide, even after all the school is rejected them, that they're going to do this anyway. And somehow along the way too, they got the parents to sign permission slips too.
I'm assuming they got to sign it before they knew what it was, because the parents came back wait, we didn't know what this was. We cancel.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. You sign kind of. It uses crazy Amy Poehler coming in too.
Yeah, well, because of all the school getting involved, and then which gets the parent teacher whatever people involved.
The whole public knows now.
Right.
Everyone's heavily invested.
And it's become a huge controversy. And of course, if it becomes a huge controversy, they sell out.
Yeah.
And Amy Poehler is there as Cricket Feldstein from the ACLU to protect him, make sure the play goes on.
Yeah.
So the play goes on. And there's this weird scene earlier in the movie with Glenn from the copy shop.
Yes.
And he shows up at opening night, and his seat is somehow a recliner. And
He does have one funny thing with the copy shop when he's like, "Stop looking at me! Like, stop staring at me!" He's like, "Oh, sorry," which is funny, but it was kind of funny, but it's not as good as this moment.
yeah. So he's sitting there smoking a J in a recliner, which they've set up as a seat. And
there's random weird seating.
There's this white curtain over the stage, and the lights are like shining through the curtain and like getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And my dude is just getting stoned as hell and gets excited. He's like, "Yeah! Fuck yeah!"
To be fair, even everyone around him is like, "Oh," like they really, like, it really captures everybody. But yeah, his reaction is like amazing.
Yeah, Nat Faxon is like really, really funny in this.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like throughout the play, you have this mixture of like people who leave, who are repulsed and disgusted, and other people are like, "I get it. This is pretty funny." Like,
and other people are like, I am both things. Like I am repulsed, but I can't look away.
Yeah.
My guy also has another line too, where he just like randomly yells like, "That is excellent wire work." It's just like that got me really good.
Well, yeah, because there's like I think it's one moment is when Yolandi gets hurt, where they're like, "Oh, this is really great that you guys can do all this with the wire stuff," and they're testing it out in the gym or something like that. And they're like, "Yeah, we watched Kill Bill
like 20 times.
We thought it was really awesome. So now we're doing it." They're like, "Wait a minute, you've never done this before?" "No, you're our first, man." And that's like when Yolanda gets hurt or whatever.
Yeah, she gets
funny.
Yeah. So then we get like a montage of like the different songs that they have created for this play. First up is
one in particular being amazing.
First up is "Raped in the Face."
Yeah.
So the lines like, "I know the topic of rape isn't nice. Don't bring it up when you're breaking the ice." And like you have a bunch of cuts to like Elizabeth Shue, who's also in the audience, just absolutely having a ball cracking up.
Oh yeah, she thinks it's
and
funny.
My girl's got an infectious laugh. She just does. She's just like laughing and clapping through the whole thing.
You are biased, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll get into Elizabeth's show a little bit more later, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then like the showstopper is of course "Rock Me Sexy Jesus."
Yep, there it is. He's got a swimmer's body, Patrick.
"Rock me, rock me, rock me, sexy Jesus. Immaculate conception really makes my day. But the dude's got lights that make me feel gay." It's like, what? It's just like this amalgamation of just like random thoughts. It's just like sort of harmonizing. It's hilarious.
Like him, and he gets to play Jesus.
Sexy Jesus, and he is dressed like Nicolas Cage in Con Air.
Yes. And at first he's got like the white robe thing that he just throws off.
Right, but when it becomes sexy Jesus.
Yes, he's basically Nick Cage, which is funny because earlier in the movie he does ask Elizabeth Shue what was Nicolas Cage like.
Yeah, well, and mentions leaving Las Vegas multiple times.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And I laughed again when they had him moonwalking over the water.
Yeah,
it's just a really hysterical scene. Like you could just, if you don't want to watch the movie, I definitely recommend at least going onto YouTube and you can just watch "Rock Me Sexy Jesus." It's like 3.5 minutes. Yeah. It's really fun. Yeah, you can see all the play parts more or less.
Yeah, because it's like you're watching, you're like, oh my God.
So, like you, I knew that it was Steve Coogan doing the voiceover, but I don't think the movie wanted you to know that because because it sounded like Jeremy Irons, right? I'm like, but that's Coogan, right? I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely Coogan.
Definitely Coogan.
But it's Coogan doing his Jeremy Irons impression, which get revealed at the end of the movie when he does it on camera to Elizabeth Shue when he says like, Jeremy Irons like tried to call him play, and then he does a Jeremy Irons impression, making fun of him that he rejected him. Like, no, you can't play. And I'm like,
I guess I didn't catch that it was supposed to be a Jeremy Irons impression at first. Like, right away I was like, oh, that's Coogan.
Right, like Coogan, like
funny.
was most famous for probably his Michael Caine impression, just from that movie, The Trip, where like they have the battling.
Yeah, that
Michael
was like
Caine.
the best part. That was the best part of the whole movie. It was in the trailer, which is a bummer. But yeah, it ain't quite nasally enough as they're going back and forth. Yeah, it was funny.
Anyway, the play's a big hit. Goes to Broadway. he brings all the original cast to go and see the first showing when it's on Broadway and everything like that.
Well, I think no. He says he's kept the original cast.
Has he kept them, or they're just like
Yeah.
he wanted to stay true to the spirit, and that's why he didn't hire like known actors like Jeremy
No,
Irons?
they said all these people wanted to be in it, and he said no. He wants to keep it pure, so the original cast is doing it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like Elizabeth Shue couldn't even do it,
Right, that part I remember.
and now he gets to date Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah. From Catherine Keener to Elizabeth Shue, my man, rolling well.
Yeah, I don't know if you were gonna have a reaction of like, "What? No," or "Oh, I'm jealous."
I'm just sort of like, absolutely sure, yeah.
Sure, why not?
But like my man Chewy, one of the kids at the class, told us like, "Yeah,
Yes.
New York City is pretty cool." And Dana says to him, Chewy, you're going to have a magical life because no matter where you go, it will always be better than Tucson.
Yeah,
It's like, damn, that's great.
and I'm pretty sure it was not filmed in Tucson.
I was filmed in Albuquerque, land of Breaking Bad again.
Oh, I really there was the one part, like a lot of the fall stuff with the rollerblading didn't really get me, exception of one where he's trying to rollerblade on gravel.
It's like, gravel, my nemesis.
Yeah, that one made me laugh. It was one of those things where it was like so much like, hey, okay, I get it, and I'm not really amused or laughing out of all the different falls. Like even the one where he goes and gets drunk after his wife leaves him, and he like randomly falls trying to get alcohol. Like that didn't really get me. But then that moment about the gravel part that made me.
I don't
laugh.
even think he was actually rollerblading. I think he was roller skating. Because I definitely
Really?
Yeah, because I remember like after he gets cheered up after his wife leaves him,
Yeah.
he gets one of his skates stuck in like railway tracks there,
yeah.
and I just saw him like, oh shit, I assumed rollerblades too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're skates, they're even older, because he has zero money. So what did you? I don't have anything else to say. What did you give this category?
I gave hilarity a. Oh man, I scrolled past it by accident. I'm not doing well here. My bad. I gave hilarity a 4.
Wow. I gave it a 6.5. I had quite a few belly laughs in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It possibly could have been a rewatch thing with me and wrong environment. But
You did not get rocked by Sexy Jesus. That's too bad. I
I really enjoyed a lot of the play stuff, the Rock Me Sexy. I thought that stuff was great. I don't know. Like again, like it was at a hard time always getting in the vibe of what Coogan was putting off, and I kind of felt like it was like repetitive humor over and over again.
Right, but it's only like 90 minutes, so the whole movie, so it never really wore out its welcome with me.
Not to the point that I thought it was bad and or anything like that. It just hampered it for me.
Okay. So side characters, supporting characters. So yeah, we got Catherine Keener. We mentioned playing Bree, Dana's wife, and she really doesn't get anything funny to do, in my opinion.
I think I don't know. Like she's just so mean and just blunt honest with some of her stuff that I kind of chuckled at times.
I mean, like maybe like in the Mexican restaurant where she's drinking like that
Right. and she gets
margarita
drunk
the size
there
of a
little bit.
fishbowl, and she's like, you should start drinking again. And then she's like, I'm just kidding.
Or I don't know. Yeah, I liked you better when you were drinking, or when she's in the sperm bank or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, we can't pass this gene pool down."
I did, actually, that was pretty good. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there's just a few lines there, and like, there's a few times of her delivery of Gary and thinking he's stupid.
Let's get into that one
was
because
funny.
that's the biggest mystery of this movie.
What a weird choice.
What was David Arquette doing in this movie as Gary?
I have no idea.
Did he owe somebody a favor?
Especially when you gave him nothing to do.
Like the joke is that he's not allowed to talk in front of Bree because everything he says is so stupid to her.
Right.
But it's like, well, then why are we having David Arquette in this movie?
Yeah.
Like David Arquette can be a very funny performer.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
And it's weird because he's like, maybe because I don't the only thing I can think of is like, he still seems to be like a hard character to hate at the same time because he seems to be actually nicer to Coogan's character than his wife is.
yeah, I mean, he left one of his protein shakes, strawberry, in the fridge for him when they moved out.
Yeah. And he seems more supportive and he gives him a ride.
He was vibing with Dana's song at the sperm clinic.
Yeah. Like, it's just like weird. Maybe that's why you need someone like David Arquette to like want you to maybe not completely hate this random guy, but like it was just weird.
I wondered if it was just like at that time, like, okay, this is going to be a Sundance thing, and like that had some kind of cachet because of Little Miss
Maybe.
Sunshine, because he's the same producers. Like, come on, join the movie. I know there's not much to do here, but it's
Right.
you know, I made Little Miss Sunshine. We'll get you into an Oscar-nominated movie or something.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so it
was weird.
He doesn't get anything to do at all. So it's like, what the hell?
Really not. Yeah. Bizarre.
So let's get into the most important supporting character to me.
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue is Elizabeth Shue.
She's not giving a whole lot here either, though.
No,
No.
but she is a joy to look at.
Yeah.
Always has been. Always will be.
Yeah.
And like Tim said, like she gets. I only laughed at like one of her, maybe one or two of her jokes that she got to actually land in this movie.
Right.
But you know, there's just
Mostly her reactions at the play are just so charming and fun.
she is without actually saying anything. She's
she
charming
gets
and
it.
fun. You know, she's Elizabeth Shue. She's delightful. And
Yeah.
so I got to ask Tim, what's your number one Shue movie?
It's
My girl was
It's probably
basically
gonna-
like the number one girlfriend in the 80s and like girlfriend roles.
yeah, no, I know. I'm probably gonna go Cocktail.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Yeah. And it's not because of the nudity, but anyway, I really enjoy that movie a lot, and I think she's asked to do a lot in that movie, like in different kinds of things in that movie, and she's able to have like an emotional thing too in that movie, and yeah, I like Cocktail.
Also does not get naked in that movie.
Oh yeah, is that a double?
No, she's not. There are naked people in that movie.
What's the
She is not
side?
one of them. You just see side, yeah, and implied
Side, I guess.
nudity, but not actually nudity. She's the only woman in the movie who I think doesn't get naked.
Fair
But yeah, Cocktail
Whatever.
is probably almost definitely my number one as well.
Okay, well, yeah, simpatico. There you go.
She's great in The Saint though too.
Great in the Saints.
Yeah.
Saints an under, like it's not really talked about as much. I feel like it's kind of one of those lost ones.
Yeah,
of its
it
era.
just came out at a rough time.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
I appreciated this movie shouting out Soap Dish. Soap Dish is a great, really funny movie.
I really appreciated the Karate Kid reference
Well, I mean, sure. There's multiple Karate Kid.
when he's yelling about the crane and all that. Like,
Well,
that was
and he
pretty
does
funny.
the crane kick, and she gets really. He does the crane kick
Yeah.
in the play of Sexy Jesus, where
In the play,
he kicks
yeah.
Satan, and she's like, oh, "It's the crane."
yeah, that was pretty funny.
Okay, so then you got Amy Poehler playing Cricket Feldstein, and
Yeah.
shocker of
not
shockers,
giving
like
much.
there's nothing funny about anything she's doing
It kind
here.
of goes flat, and it's sad because I love Amy. Poehler
Yeah,
to death,
no,
but
she's
it's
amazing.
just- there was like a couple of like quick lines about her husband, but it happens so fast. It's kind of hard for them to land.
Yeah, it's like it's okay. I'm married to a Jew. It's like,
Yeah,
all right, that's weird.
yeah. They didn't really land, and there was like a scene where like she's getting trampled and yelling how she's going to sue everybody, and it's like I've seen that the version of that joke so many times, and it just doesn't really work.
Right, she's like a fake liberal or whatever is I guess the joke, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
like,
just
okay.
that's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah,
a
no, I
lot of-
agree.
there's some moments of that in this movie in general where just things are just not quite landing or repetitive, and that's again kind of why I ended up docking it so much. But yeah.
But the biggest laughs for a supporting character, and we use that term supporting character loosely, is definitely Glenn the copy guy, who provided 2 big belly laughs.
Yeah,
Which is more than anyone else in this movie.
2.5 or so. I mean, there was maybe 1.5 lines from the racist girl. What's her name? That kind of made me laugh.
Epiphany.
Yeah, Epiphany. There was just a couple times
Calling kids like cholo and stuff.
Yeah, where it's more like everyone else's reaction to her racism that really makes me laugh. And then like there's supposed to be that end reveal where she actually likes Chewie and starts making out with him or whatever, and like that one didn't actually land.
No,
as much
because
as
it's obvious
I feel
that's
like
where
the
this is
others.
always going.
Yeah, it was better like early on when she would say something like kind of racist, but yeah.
Yeah. So I gave this category because I love Elizabeth Shue and my guy Nat Faxon as Glenn the copy guy. I give it a 1.5.
Oh wow, you went lower than me.
Oh, you went higher. What'd you give?
I gave it a 2.
Okay, well there you go. I went up so much higher and laugh out loud. It's fine.
Yeah.
So my final score is an 11.
It's still higher than me. I went 9.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have it below Pineapple Express.
Yeah. Pineapple Express is a much funnier movie.
2, and you gave it 11.
Mm-hmm.
So you got it at 6, and I
Also
have it at 6.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
I
have it. Yeah, I have it 6 right below Sex Drive. You have it at 6 right below Pineapple Express.
So I also want to shout out the Tucson Gay Men's Choir. Their cover of Elton John's "Someone Saved My Life Tonight" during the show was excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Roger Ebert gave this movie 3 stars. He actually doesn't have much to say about anything. This movie kind of gives like a brief description. I don't even think
That's
it really
weird.
came up to like 2 paragraphs in all.
Yeah.
But he did like let out that his favorite character is Noah, the tiny critic. Which that it's like, oh, my favorite character Noah. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I mean, it was pretty funny to see him taking advice from this little kid.
Right, but if Ebert loving the other critic in the movie.
Right, of
it's like,
course.
okay. So this movie had a budget of $9 million. And worldwide gross of a little over 4.9 million.
Okay.
It debuted at number 22 in a limited release of only 100 theaters, and losing to Tropic Thunder, which in its second weekend of release. And it also lost to The House Bunny, Death Race, The Long Shots, and The Rocker in their first weekend of release. And
oh man, that's sad on the Rocker.
and then in
Everybody revisit that.
really?
No, like revisit your choices. Like that.
Oh, I never saw it. Yeah.
It's not good.
It didn't look good. Anyway, the following week it went into wide release over 1,000 theaters, and it crawled all the way up to number 17.
Oh boy.
Still losing to Tropic Thunder now in its third weekend of release.
That's fair.
And the new releases that weekend were Babylon AD. Do you remember that movie at all?
Is that the animated movie with?
No. It was the Vin Diesel movie.
Oh. Vin Diesel movie, Babylon 80?
I think so. Am I crazy? Yeah, Vin Diesel.
Not.
Yeah.
What was that movie?
It's a sci-fi thing because it was Vin Diesel's super into sci-fi and rejected Fast and the Furious. Veteran turned mercenary Turup takes the high-risk job of escorting a woman from Russia to America. Little does he know that she is
I
a host
missed
of an
this
organism that a
movie.
cult wants to harvest in order to produce a genetically modified messiah.
Missed it. Missed that one.
Yeah, Vin Diesel, Michelle Yeoh, Gerard Depardieu. Oh, God, Gerard Depardieu. Also came out that weekend for the first time. Traitor. Remember? Did you ever see Traitor? Traitor was good.
No, what's that one?
It's like Don Cheadle as like an undercover CIA guy.
Missed that too.
Oh, it was a good movie.
Where was I?
No, it's
Huh.
produced by like Steve Martin too.
Interesting.
Yeah. There was.
I learned something today.
If you ever, Guy Pearce is in it. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's
I like Guy Pearce.
where yeah.
Yeah.
We're in the bag for Guy Pearce. If you ever get a
Sure.
chance to see it, it's definitely worth a watch.
Man.
And
All right.
what else came out? Disaster Movie and College, which is a movie we'll be watching later this year. College.
Okay. So, did it make more in like video release?
Couldn't find any information on that, so I'm thinking
Okay.
no, not really.
Because I feel like it was reviewed well.
Yeah, well, I was. I don't.
Like I got enough buzz that I knew about it and watched it when it came out in video.
Well, it was a Sundance. So, like I said, it was produced for $9 million, and then
Yeah.
I forget which actually distributor bought it for like $10 million. So the producers
Yeah.
made all their money back. But yeah, it was a loss for I forget whichever one ended up distributor bought it.
Huh. Okay.
Oh, Trader is on Freevee, so you can watch that whenever you want. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Definitely recommend
commercials.
Well, it's also on Stars if you have a Stars account.
I used to. I don't anymore.
Yeah. All right. And that's all I got.
Okay then.
All right. Next week.
Yeah, you got next pick.
So I thought about this long and hard,
Okay.
and guessing what we are now at the halfway mark with this movie, with the new movie.
That's
This
crazy.
next movie will be the halfway mark through the season.
Wow.
So, looking at future movies and what I know you want to do for the end, I decided to do the promotion this week for next week.
Oh no. Oh no.
I've never seen it.
Okay.
You've seen it?
Hold on. Is it what I'm thinking of?
Sean William Scott and John C. Reilly.
Oh yes, I did see this movie.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Though to be fair, I don't know if it was a situation where, because I believe it was a rental also with friends, and like no one was feeling it, and we ended up not finishing it. So this might be my first time watching it from beginning to end. So we'll see.
And Sean William Scott, John C. Reilly, Fred Armisen, Bobby Cannavale,
Yeah.
Jenna Fisher.
There's definitely some stuff here, though.
Right. John C. Reilly and Sean William Scott fight over who gets to be the new general manager to a grocery store.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. I'm looking at the guy who made it. Trying to see, not a whole lot here. He seems to have done more writing than directing.
hey, that happens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And where is it at?
Oh, shoot. I got out of the thing.
Oh, it's fine. I can take a look quick. Plex or Pluto?
And Peacock.
Okay.
It's on the cock, Tim.
Oh, nice. Way to come in the clutch, Peacock. Good for you. All right. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, that is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or Apple Listen Show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag filmbrochamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bro Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
Peacock.